MZTV.
Lots going on here at Zender headquarters in South Florida at the edge of the bottom of the peninsula. Here I am being assisted by Mona. Mona is here in the studio with me, taking a cigarette break. I didn't authorize that, but there you have it. Shows you what good my word is around here, but she's cute, so I guess it's okay. Lots happening. 6 books are being typeset at the same time. That's right, 6 books that have already been written but not published are now in the works being typeset. I'm going to give you the details on that. Then we're going to talk about Ishmael, the I guess you could call him an illicit son of Abraham, but necessary as a foil for Isaac. So yes, this is Martin Zender. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Catherine and I have already typeset The Lie of Every Man's Battle. I'm going through the bound galley right now. Next step, sending it to the publisher. It's a great book. I love it. Just making some tweaks. Shaga is coming out with it. Yes, that's the book for you happy couples who want to be happier. Sex is a key ingredient to couplehood. Sorry, but it is. Seth Vollenkamp is typesetting Death of the Old Humanity. That's right. Oh, and Catherine is now typesetting my novel, Goddess of Nazareth. I wrote this novel in 2005. It had a close call in New York. I'll tell you about that when the time comes to publish it. It would be great if Goddess of Nazareth came out with Shaga and The Lie of Every Man's Battle, because these are associated. So there's 4 books. I'm typesetting 2, namely How to Love Anyone, Even Your Wife, and Greater Than Adam, a book about the salvation of all. All these books are going to be coming out generally around the same time. So that's exciting news. Lots going on. And then every week I'm looking at Rodney Paris's video, doing some edits and working with him to get that published for you on Sundays. And of course, this daily show going out every day. Lots happening here, and it's because of you. I got to keep telling you that because it's true. For those of you who have helped produce this show and helped me for 28 years, thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. It's just, I can't do it without you. If anybody wants to contribute to the show, I'll put a link down here. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You notice I don't ever say anything like hit that subscribe button. I hate that. I hate seeing those videos. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and something with a bell to get notifications. Screw that crap. Oh, I hate it. Don't subscribe if you don't want to. I don't care if you subscribe. If you want to, do it. Notifications, who cares? Just look for it, you'll find it. I mean, give me a like. Why would I say that? You might not like this video. Don't give it a like. Give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. I'm not out to gain subscribers. I'm not. It's God's growth. He decides how these things happen. I don't promote my videos. I don't do any advertising, nothing. I just put them out there. That's it. I'm not behind them, pushing them out there. I don't know how to do that. It's not in me. It's in me to herald the word, opportunely and inopportunely. Exposing, rebuke, and treating with all patience. Working on that one. And teaching. So there's that. Now, yesterday, I told you that God directs all circumstances, and this is how we make decisions. We make decisions because we get painted into certain corners. I referenced, let's just say I know of a man, whether in a body or out of a body, I am not aware, but I know of a man who a certain amount of years ago had a beautiful woman delivered him by God, and so every single circumstance screamed, go for this. And so this man married this woman, and it turned out to be an experience. Do all things work together for good? Yes. So there you have it. Now, some people could say, well, this hypothetical person you're talking about produced an Ishmael. Now, let me explain the Ishmael thing. I'll go back to that example and I'll apply it to your life. And I'm going to ask you this question. Are you willing to produce an Ishmael? And this goes along with what I said yesterday. That even if you make a bad decision, we can still call it a bad decision, yes, but it's going to work out for good, and it was necessary. This goes to the next level. This goes to the next level because the promised son of Abraham, Isaac, came on the heels of Abraham trying to produce his son in the flesh. But I don't blame Abraham for doing this, for doing what he did. I'm going to explain it in a second, because Abraham was just reacting to circumstances. Here's what happened. God promised Abraham in, I think, Genesis chapter 10 that he was going to have a son and that he was going to have a seed, basically. He was going to have a bunch of people coming out of his loins, figuratively speaking. Well, kind of literally speaking, but anyway, Abraham was childless. He didn't know how this could be. He was an elderly man at the time, but he became older and older, and he kept thinking about that promise of God. Apparently, I'm going to be the father of a multitude of people. And somehow I don't see how this is going to happen. But he believed God, remember? And it was counted to him as or for righteousness. But he couldn't see how it was going to be done because Sarah, his wife, she was barren. At the time, he still had to get up and go. He still had to get up and go, but not Sarah. I'm assuming they tried. Yeah, I'm assuming that Abraham and Sarai, at the time, I guess he was Abram at the time, and his wife Sarai, they tried. They used every method known to man to conceive. You know, they copulated upside down. They, I think one time did he stand on his head? I don't know. Did he go in from behind? Is that conducive to try? I don't know, but they tried like hell. Nothing happened. So Abraham, reading the circumstances, trusting that God can do a miracle, but he's waiting. No miracle. Well, maybe God expects me. This is the beautiful thing. Maybe God expects me to just have the kid by another woman. In fact, it was his wife Sarai who said, why don't you just go into my handmaiden Hagar? And Abram said, what exactly do you mean by go into? Oh, he knew what she meant, but he just wanted to make sure because this is not something you want to make a mistake about. So she said, yes, it's what you think I mean. So Abraham said, well, all right. Sarah said, no soft music, no wine, no cologne, no spaghetti straps. Just get in, get the job done, Amish style, man on top in the dark. Come on, don't enjoy it or anything. Abraham said, check, 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 check. And then he ignored all that. Put on his best cologne, Brute, I think it was. And then, or maybe it was Ode to Canaan. Yeah, maybe it was Ode to Canaan. And hired a couple of violinists. Serenaded the fair Hagar and went into her. And lo and behold, a son was produced. And they named him Ishmael. Now, I don't blame Abraham because, again, he believed God, but circumstances were telling him, man, maybe this is how God wants it done. And, I don't find any place in Scripture where God condemns Abraham for this. I don't. If it's there, elucidate me. There's no wholesale condemnation like, how dare you? No, it was just an idea. It's like, well, here's an idea, and, maybe this is how it's to be done. Because God didn't say, I'm going to miraculously produce a son. And it's going to be done when you're 100 and your wife's 100, and it's just going to be so impossible that I'm going to do it. It's going to be great, so just wait. No. See, in the big picture, Abraham and Sarah had to produce this son that Paul uses as an allegory. Oh, it's so beautiful. Paul uses Ishmael as an allegory in Galatians to speak of Jerusalem that is in bondage to the flesh because it was produced after the flesh, but it was necessary to backdrop the son produced according to the promise. So it was a misfire. Relatively speaking, it was a misfire because God told Abraham after the kid was born and everything, everybody's celebrating, and the kid gets a little blue booties, and everybody is saying, Abraham's like, "Hey, great, we did it." And God says, well, no, that's not the promised son. And if I was Abraham, I would have said, "Now you talk to me. Now you talk to me. You could have said something before this happened." Because I'm sure Abraham is like all of us. Like, if you just don't want me to do something, just say it. And I meant to mention this yesterday, that there are no green lights in God's will, just red lights. So you look at the circumstances, you look how things are developing, and you just do what seems right based on the person God made you and the circumstances. And then you just tell God, at least I do, look, if this is wrong, if this is totally wrong, just give me some giant sign that says stop. Like, even if it's red and has 8 sides with the words stop on it, that'd be even better. Do that. But of course, God can do it and will do it if he wants to do it with an obvious thing. For instance, if God had not wanted Abraham to go into Hagar, he would have made her repulsed by brute cologne, or eau de Canaan. He probably used eau de Canaan, which was repulsive by modern standards. And if God didn't want this to happen, it would have turned Hagar's stomach, and she would have said, "Not tonight, dear," or she would have gotten a headache. Classic move. But that didn't happen. They had a wonderful evening together. I think Sarah went to a movie with some friends. It's like, call me when it's over. Call me when it's over. And I don't want to hear anything about it. Oh, you should see. No, don't. Oh, she had on this. Like, stop it. Stop. Just do it. Do the deed. Get it done. Have the baby. And they did. Ishmael. Nope, not the son of promise. It's the son of the flesh. What? Abraham could have said, might have said, should have said, "Why didn't you just stop me?" But see, God wanted him to produce a son of the flesh, to contrast it with the son of the promise. So again, God waits till it's impossible for him to have kids. It's impossible for his wife to have kids. Then Paul says in Romans 3, God invigorated him. Maybe it's Romans 4. Read all of Romans, you'll find God invigorated him. I always thought that, and Sheridan thought too, we did a show on this in our radio show in Indianapolis, that invigorated, maybe that was a form of the word Viagra. Anyway, God brought things up with Abraham, and fireworks flew. Now Hagar was really jealous when this happened, because she started to think she was all that, and she started to lord it over Sarah. Not good, Hagar. You had your time in the sun. You were a proxy. Get off stage. No. She wants to be the queen. She wants to be the queen of the household. And then that Ishmael was quite a little rugrat also, a little crumb cruncher, curtain crawler, irritating kid. Well, son born according to the flesh, what do you expect? But God said, I'm still going to make a great nation out of this kid. Still going to make a great nation. There's the Arabs. Yeah, well, it's a great nation. Yeah, the Arabs came out of Ishmael. Israelites came out of Isaac. So the promised son is born. And now we have this great allegory that Paul draws upon hundreds of years later. This is a type, he says, type of law, type of bondage for in the Ishmael, Hagar department, type of spirit, type of freedom in the Isaac, Sarah department. Beautiful allegory. So it was necessary to produce the son according to the flesh. Now, applying it to you and me, are you willing to produce an Ishmael? The right answer to that question is yes, you are. Because you look at the circumstances, you look within, you see how you are, you know your likes and wants because God gave them to you, and then you take a course of action and you dedicate it to God. It's like, okay, God, this is it. I'm sure Abraham did that. Dedicated his actions to God when he went into the lovely Hagar. Not a very sexy name, though, is it? Hagar. Sarah, much nicer. Sarah. Hagar. Picture with underarm hair and kind of manly, but probably not. You know what? Yes, probably so. Because I don't think if Sarah had another handmaid that was Miss America, I don't think that she would have offered her. Knowing women as I do, yeah, I don't think Hagar was a looker. But that's okay. It worked. The music did it. The violinist. That was a good call. So, yes, you are willing to produce an Ishmael. Because then God can make an Isaac out of it. So when I make a decision, a big decision, I will say to God, I'll actually say this to him. I said, look, I am willing for this to be an Ishmael if that's your will. But I'm going to go for it whole hog because I'm getting every indication I'm supposed to do this, i.e. with a marriage, for instance, or like a place to live, or where I'm going to move, who I'm going to marry. Big decisions. It's like you weigh everything out and you say, okay, God, I dedicate this to you. I want this to be an Isaac right off the bat. Just give me the son of promise right off the bat. But Lord, if you want me to produce a son of the flesh, then I'm willing for that. I'm not trying to make this an act of the flesh. I'm really trying to do a godly thing. I'm really trying to do a right thing based on everything you've pitched at me here. I'm swinging at a beautiful pitch. It's right over the plate. I'm feeling peace about it. I'm feeling good about it. I'm going to do it. Turns out to be Ishmael. Well, okay. So now that I've provided you a beautiful foil, now show me Isaac. See? When you're willing to do that, I guess it could be known in modern terms as willing to make a mistake. Are you willing to make a mistake? Damn straight. Damn straight. For instance, I have a friend, fellow member of the body of Christ, James Huff. He told me probably 20 years ago that when he prayed that God would show him his will, that God would give him grace and peace and show him his ultimate plan for the universe. What did God do? Sent him into the worldwide Church of God for 20 years. A cult. Sent James Huff into a cult. That was God's answer to James Huff's prayer. That was a big time Ishmael. Many of you have gone into wacko religions that you look back on and say, why the hell did I do that? You had to produce an Ishmael. It was according to flesh, but you didn't know that. You did the best you could. You didn't sit around one Saturday saying, I think I'm going to do an act according to flesh. I think I'm going to really lay an egg here. No. But it was necessary. Why? Because as James Huff reports it, I never would appreciate the grace of God and the calling that I have now without that backdrop of the bondage of the cult of the worldwide Church of God. I can say that about Catholicism, even though that wasn't my decision. I was thrown into it at birth, baptized as a baby, sprinkled water on my head, this crazy priest. What the? But it was necessary. So the answer is yes. Dedicate it to God. Even your mistakes are sanctified by the wisdom of God, by the grace of God. So even if you do lay an egg, God's going to produce an omelet out of it. Hey, that's pretty good.